Welcome to Remember Your Source. I'm Julie Delene, and I'm delighted to have my guest here, Barbara McAfee. Today we're going to talk about how she remembers source as she brings out her full voice. So Barbara, you want to just introduce yourself?
Sure. I am a native Minnesotan, and everything I do is rooted in voice. I train and coach people in how to find their full voice and use it in their lives. I'm also training people to do that work now. I'm an author. I wrote a book called Full Voice, and I'm working on my 8th CD of mostly original music. And then I'm also a community song leader. I have a comfort choir who sings for people who are having a crummy day, and I do regular community sings just for anybody who wants to come and enjoy the pleasure of using their voices together.
Yes, and I attend them regularly. I love those. Well, I'd like to welcome our viewers and anyone that's listening or watching this and feel a moment of gratitude for our connection with each other, and our connection to everyone that's listening at this moment. As we pause and bring in that moment of gratitude, we expand ourselves to a larger position of hearing in a different way. So welcome and thank you, everyone. Now, the big question that we're starting with, how do you remember source? And then we'll take the game cards and stimulate a dynamic conversation.
Well, I finally got over myself and have been doing a meditation practice every single morning without fail since March 24th, after deciding I was just ready to stop resisting. That's been very helpful. You make a promise to myself and keep it, and to let go of whether it's a good meditation or not. It's just sit down and breathe. So that is my newest way of remembering source. As an oral tradition singing person and a coach, I spend a lot of time listening with my skin, which is my way of saying my intuition, noticing what's happening in the field. I also do that as a songwriter and a blog writer. So I feel like I've constructed my life in such a way that I have to pay attention in order to just basically do my job description. I think the other way I access it is by considering mortality. Singing for people who are near the end of their lives and caring for a 94-and-a-half-year-old mom, remembering that this is not forever, brings me more connected to the gift of my life.
That is so well said. Oh my gosh, I have just tingles going on. The impermanence of life and knowing that. And I love how you said you listen with your skin. Oh my goodness. It's my job description as well. It's that embodiment to listen to my skin and what I'm feeling and what I'm connecting with and how I'm engaging my community is really my work. So we'll start with the first card. This is so good for you. The first card is the map phase of recognizing where you're at. So what part of your body is calling your attention as we listen to our skin? I love it.
Yeah, I feel like I remember being about 7 years old, and this guy came to tune our piano, and he was actually blind, and his son would drop him off and get him situated, and he would tune the piano. No machines, of course, back then. And I remember being so fascinated with him and listening. He was so kind to explain to me what he was doing as he tuned the piano. And even with my 7-year-old ears, when it aligned, I could hear it. And all the little fuzziness on the edges of the sound just came into attunement. And I feel like I've been at that for the rest of my life. I've been self-employed since 1991.
Wow, nice.
And so strategic planning is like an oxymoron in this journey of mine. It's nothing. I think a lot about it. I wake up thinking about it every day. But for me, when I am in the right place, my whole body feels like that piano note. Feels like everything just lines right up. And I've noticed that when I'm not, I made a commitment a few weeks ago, and I was sitting there the whole time, just like this. Just my whole system was just in uproar, because it was like, this is not mine to do. Why? I knew this, and I said yes anyway.
Yes.
So to me, it's my whole body, starting with my skin.
I love that. In fact, I was going to call the game at one point, move in tune.
There you go.
that moving and getting into alignment with yourself, moving in tune and knowing what that feels like, aligning with that. That's our strategic planning. That's
right.
Exactly it. Wow. Well said. I love it. This question is, what legacy would you like to leave behind?
These are really good. These are very good cards.
I think he's talking about impermanence.
Well, becoming a teacher of the full voice work is all about legacy. The big question of, does this work that I've written about and done for 30 years, is this just something I do, or is this transmittable? And just heading into the last cohort, the answer is, it is totally possible. And they are exceeding me, as they should. And that is delightful. One of the graduates from 2016 is actually my nephew.
Wow.
And he has told me that he's carrying on my legacy in the family, which just, I can hardly look at that directly. Mm-hmm. So looking at getting my work into other people so they can take it where it needs to go next. Mm-hmm. And it also is noticing more purposefully the young people around me who are looking to me, mm-hmm. and figuring out ways to show up in their lives. Sometimes that has little to do with money, because a lot of them are just totally overwhelmed with student loan debt. So I've been in a kind of creative exploration of how to work with that while still, I still need to make some money while I've got my limbs intact. So that's been a thing too, is just really being more on purpose about who's around me and what kinds of contributions are they asking from me that I can actually make. So it's good to see what are the gifts that I have in terms of wisdom and context, to say, oh no, this isn't just about you, darling.
So we'll go on to the third phase. After you think big picture legacy, then we start to hone in and say, what is your current vision? And if you were completely supported, and the part about that, if you were completely supported, if you didn't have to worry about money and others requested your services, what would you be doing?
This.
Absolutely. But I just heard you say that around even the younger, if there was a way, there was some type of sponsorship where you could transfer your skills to younger people who are begging for it and change agents in this world.
One of the ways I've got, for my new CD, I have a concert coming up on December 9th. And I've been pricing my tickets to say like regular price, and then supporting others and supported by others. So they get to be in relationship with each other monetarily. And I'm looking at a similar model where there might be a slight price increase for 6 of the 9 people, and 3 of them come in with a partial scholarship or helping organize things. So I'm constantly looking at that, because I am not in a position to be a philanthropist.
Right, yes.
And I am able to leverage people's singing and desire to be of service in my little comfort choir. I don't get paid for that, but I get to offer this gift to the community that I have been blessed to receive, which is that singing at the bedsides of people who are struggling is a great gift. And same with the singing and the light. The community sings. I don't get paid for that, but I can be the agent for other people's generosity and give all the proceeds of that to both local and international causes. So I'm looking at what have I learned in these other ways that I can bring to bear on this training. And the other thing I rarely consider is an angel. You know, like people who love this work and have a lot of money. I just don't think about that. Although I was just recently encouraged to do that by a friend in California last week. So
this card was kind of encouraging you.
Yes.
If you're completely supported.
Yeah.
That. So I agree with it. I agree with that. It's part of
Thank you, card. Thank you.
So just the last one we'll pick. That's who would you like to collaborate with? Again, this is saying to build toward your future. And that feels like this card is pointing to that angel once again. And I'm sure there's angels all around you.
Oh, clearly. And I recently reconnected with my old organizational development partner, Patrick O'Brien, to do some consulting with me about this Full Voice Institute that I'm birthing, that there's actually a group of people who are graduating who want to stay connected and want to keep learning. And they're all kind of in love with the idea of being together and discovering across groups. And one of the biggest things was not just the angel, but there's someone I can feel in my field who can come and take the ditzy stuff over. As a one-woman show, that's just, I cannot build what I need to build. Going and, you know, taking boxes of CDs and books to the post office and filling out this form. And so I have been aware of that for a while. And that's the other person that I'm calling in as like a protege, someone who wants to learn the work and be close to me as a mature person. And then also who has some skills. And I have my eye on a couple people who might be interested in that kind of arrangement. So it feels like I've got, like, at both ends, you know, somebody in the weeds taking care of things to free me up, and then also somebody who could support me working with people who don't have money.
I'd like to just take a moment to talk about what we're doing with Wise Women and Money Conversations.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing 3 events next year. One is about the inner game of money, the old game of money, and the new game of money. What you're pointing to is what the new game of money is, which is we're wanting to build ecosystems of support, a good old girl network that we support each other in whatever our work is. So there's more of a network. There's a whole ecosystem besides just, so when it says, who do you want to collaborate with? I'm wanting to collaborate with you, Barbara. Yes. And we just can link all the people who are on this path of wanting to wake up in various ways and continue to support them in those ways. That's the new game we're heading toward. So this is lovely. It's been great. I love you so much, and I honor you in all the work. And 30 years, I've been at this for a little over 20 years on my own. So I'm grateful for all the work that you've done over the last 30 years.
Yes. You're welcome. Yes. And same to you. I think it's what I sacrifice in terms of security and actually like taking vacations, which has got to come back soon, is more than paid for, and feeling like I'm being of use in the way that I was born to be. Yeah. It's worth a lot to me. And it's just so nice to have such mutually vibrating fellow travelers like you. It's like, okay, I'm crazy, but not like that.
Well, more to come. Great to have you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Julie.
All right.